Hello, Melanie Lyons here to talk with you about the E's of Excellence. The E's of Excellence are a rubric, if you will, or a goal setting device so that we can establish what makes performing arts excellent. And these were developed over the last 15 years in multiple musical theater performance productions and classes. And the list has grown longer as we have unlocked other elements that make a production excellent. And so we're going to discuss what those are and then talk about how you can apply them to your rehearsal process, both at home and in person. So first of all, the E's of Excellence are almost all E words, and they start with energy. The ability to see that there's energy and connection happening on stage between the actors and between the actors and the material. And then expression, right? Super important. Emotion, that's partly of what makes drama dramatic. Enunciation is a huge one. We want to be able to hear and understand what's happening on stage. Efficiency. If you've ever been to a production and seen set changes take eons of time, or where there's the space between lines where the actors are thinking and thinking and thinking of what to say next or do next, you know that efficiency is really important. And then ensemble, seeing the actors working together, enjoying each other, and having good rapport both on and off stage is super important in an excellent production. And then our word that doesn't quite fit into the E list would be projection, but we like to think of that as E louder or putting an exclamation point on your line or performance. And so these are our E's of Excellence. Hopefully you've heard these before, and this was just a quick review. And so now we're going to talk about what kind of exercise you can do for each of these areas to help improve your performance in these areas, and how to apply that to your script and potentially some personal time at home with your script. So first of all, before you grab your script, you don't want to get too cozy with it in your bed and fall asleep. You really, when you're rehearsing lines at home by yourself, you want to be on your feet and you want to be full of energy. And so one way to do that is the ever famous shake out. And so stand up and shake out your right and your left and all of your arms and legs, or do some jumping jacks, put on a song and do a little dance party. Get yourself awake and make sure your whole body and your whole mental activity is ready and awake. And then make sure you're putting energy into your practice. Super fun and important, and it's going to make it more meaningful. Then for expression, consider as you're trying to memorize passages, maybe you're in your room and you don't want to be super loud, you can absolutely use over dramatic facial expressions while you're practicing a line. For example, if your line is, the definition of expression is to use one's face and body to show an emotion or thought. When you get your facial expressions and your body involved in your lines and learning, it's actually going to work for you really well. It's going to engage your muscle memory as well to help really lock in what you're learning. Also, studies prove that if there is some kind of emotional connection and understanding to the words, it's going to lock into your brain a lot easier. Next on our list is enunciation, and what a great segue, because enunciation is all about using your muscle memory. If you over enunciate your lines while you're memorizing them, whether your voice is making sound or not, you could read it with over enunciated lip syncing without any sound coming out. That's going to lock those words and those lines into your muscle memory. And when you get on stage, your body and your mind will be working together to make sure those lines come out of your mouth in the right order. So definitely using enunciation. So enunciation is to utter or pronounce words or sentences clearly so as to be heard and understood by the audience. And when you're enunciating, you are focusing on your consonants, so the beginning and ending sounds of each line. Great thing to do before you really dive in and are speaking some lines out loud would be to do some tongue twisters. Some favorites, I'm sure everyone has a favorite. Some favorites of mine are red leather, yellow leather, lavender leather, or unique New York. You know you need unique New York. So find a favorite tongue twister. And then also go ahead and turn in your script and find a line that maybe you have said out loud in rehearsal that is tricky, and really use and pretend that that song is a tongue twister and over enunciate it over and over. Actors often have a line or two, especially if they're using an accent in their play, or if there's some kind of affection to the way their character speaks that's different than their normal pronunciation. They will often have a line or series of lines from their character that their character says that helps them get into that pattern of speech for their character. So that's something that famous actors use all the time, is that over enunciation and tongue twisters that help them really land into how their character speaks. So we've got energy, expression, emotion, enunciation, and the next one is efficiency. And believe it or not, you can really be thinking about scene changes and cue lines and what comes next and be preparing that. Your mind is so powerful, and I always encourage my actors, don't just memorize your lines, don't just memorize your cue lines, but read the play from beginning to end multiple times so that you know what happens next and the order that things are going in. This is super helpful for efficiency because then you're not relying on someone else to tell you what's coming next. You know, you can put an ear out and hear what scene is being worked on and know what comes next, and whether it's time for you to be on deck ready to enter, or if you have a few more minutes to check your props and things. Efficiency is all about working in a well-organized professional manner that doesn't waste time, effort, or resources. And so you can really look at a scene and be reading it silently and imagining in your mind what's happening. You could even be thinking, okay, here's where the chair comes on, here's where this goes off, then I enter. If you learn well by writing things down, you could be writing in the sequence of what happens in those scene changes to help you also be ready to know exactly when you enter. All right, so next we come to projection. This one's probably the hardest one to practice at home, but maybe you have a rec room or a place where you can go and make some loud noise and you can warn your family that you are going to be working on your projection. And the most important thing here is that you're never straining your throat. You are never screaming or anything like that. You really want to do some exercises like Santa Claus would say, ho, ho, ho. You're really engaging your diaphragm muscles. You're taking a nice deep low breath as if your torso was a barrel that you're filling with air. And then you want to use those muscles to project your sound out. And you really want to target. It's super important that you are projecting your voice as if it's a target towards a wall so that you can hear that sound bouncing off. The trick with projection, or e-louder as we like to say it, is that it's not all being generated by you, but you are throwing your sound through space and time, bouncing it off a wall, which is then going to help it travel. And that goes for microphones too. You have to send your sound across the field of where the microphones are picking up that sound in order for it to be effective. So if you can, find a room where there's a blank wall that you can practice sending your lines through space and time. One of our favorite exercises to do is to do throwing ones. And so you can do this with a line or just the word one. And so let's imagine you're standing next to your couch in your living room. And first, you're going to just say the word one, and you're going to just send it to like 1 foot in front of you. One. Then you're going to send it to halfway across the room. One. Then you're going to send it all the way to the back wall. One. And bouncing that sound off that wall. Also, we use the phrase, I like to use the phrase, bounce your sound off the back wall. It has nice open vowels so that you can practice that feeling of ho, 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 bounce your sound off the back wall, and really be sending it to the back wall and making sure that all of your throat and vocal cords are healthy and not strained. Awesome. So next is ensemble. Ensemble is about working together as a group of performers. If you have the ability to get together with someone from that you have a scene with, then do that. That's a great way to have some time of bonding and building friendships and teamwork outside of class. But if not, consider writing some compliments, thinking about these E's of excellence and writing a note to someone else that's in the production with you, some compliments about what you've seen and their good work that they've done. But also thinking about how everything works together. I know one important thing in ensemble is to let the director be the voice of direction, and to really do your best to know your part, and try not to be worried about everyone else. More times than not, if you see that someone else's is not in their place and then you're encouraging them to go to their places, you probably have forgotten about where you're supposed to be. So if we all do our own part to be ready and practiced and do our best, then as an ensemble, we're going to have an incredible final product. So please review these E's of excellence as you look at your script and continue to make progress in your production. And all the best.